morning, Space Watchers, and welcome back to Space Symposium on our last day here in Colorado Springs. I'm Yvette Gonzalez, and this is my colleague Laura Todd, and we're happy to come back with the last information output for the week and our findings and kind of impressions for what we've seen this week, right? I personally had a very productive week and very surprised and very impressed with how much the industry is growing, how rapidly, what's evolving. And I think for me, every session was exciting and making sure that I understood exactly what the next steps are going to be. For me, also the rest of the week is making sure that we stay in touch with everyone and that we follow through with this collaborative feeling, right? This new collaboration.
Totally collaborative feeling, yeah.
So what was your takeaway from the week?
Well, first of all, Yvette, I'm really disappointed that you didn't start off with a space joke. So I'm sure all the space watchers are really disappointed, but don't worry, when Torsten's on next, I'm sure he'll bring it back up to speed.
Yeah, nothing in my arsenal for that, yeah.
Right, so basically, I mean, honestly, I totally agree with you. When I was coming over to this event, everyone was concerned about the geopolitical situation, about how are we going to move forward, of working together. Are we still allies on different topics? And that has not been the case at all. I think everyone we've seen has really focused on that being, what's our objective? What is it we're trying to secure? What are the different missions? And how are we going to take what we're good at individually as nations, as companies, as geo domains, and bring that to deliver something that's useful? And really across the board, and I think even from like the top level in terms of military, right down to the smallest companies, real innovation. So yeah, for me it's been absolutely fabulous week, and although I'm sorry to see it finish, I will be glad to go home and like put my feet up.
And I will say what's really surprised me and I'm excited about is that the dual use of space has been really a focus, and the science tracks, the science discussions, even yesterday the cislunar conversation, that was powerful. I have to say, the conversation around what are we going to do next, what's possible, is really exciting to know that the science is going to bring back useful technology, useful action, and useful partnerships across the world. And more open, I think, than ever, which is exciting.
I think I'm also really excited to see what happens next in the strategic partnership. They're currently in the process of putting that through the planning details. So that will be coming out soon, so I can't wait to read that. And like you say, follow up on all these different actions. We had a fabulous discussion yesterday, 33 minutes, with John from International Space University. You know, really, you can see people are thinking differently, how to be more dynamic, how to be quicker, how to be more efficient, but for a purpose, not just for the sake of doing technology.
Even at a local level. So I had the privilege of speaking to the Spaceport America team from my hometown, you know, shameless plug for El Paso, Las Cruces, and looking at what do spaceports, at a granular level, what do a space hub and community look like, and how is that growing, and how is that going to change the future of the industry? So I think that's exciting to know that at a community level, people are engaging, it matters, and it can be done almost anywhere in the world. So today, especially, we have a great guest. I'll let you introduce her.
All right. So if you'd like to bring her on, so we've got Krystal Azelton, who is Director of Space Applications Programs, that's a mouthful, by the way, at Secure World Foundation. So Krystal, how are you?
Excellent. Great to be here.
It's great to have you here. What's your key takeaways from the symposium? How's it been for you?
Yeah, so it's been a great symposium. We come here to meet with people and to hear some of the latest news, and it's been a whirlwind as always. I'm always interested to see what the trends are, hear what's going on, just like everybody else, wander the exhibit hall where we're standing right now, and it's been really productive on that front. For Secure World, like how many meetings can we shove in is what we're trying to do, and it's just been so great to see our international partners and folks from across the United States, and to be able to really talk about what's coming up this year. There's so much changing in the space world that continues to be a common trend right now, and to just try to understand where everybody's at.
Which I think, like, you know, that's a common theme that we've heard from everyone this week. So, and what specifically then for Secure World Foundation did you get out of this week then?
Yeah, absolutely. So I definitely think you touched on this in your intro. One question that a lot of us had is sort of the state of international partnerships for space. And I would say that has been something I've seen a lot of talk about this week, a lot of interest in. Sure, some delegations are smaller, but there really are folks from around the world here. The United States, especially on the defense side, has been very clear in its intention to continue with those partnerships, which I think was a question mark for some of us before this. And we're really seeing a recommitment to that, despite the fact there's still remains some uncertainty about how much this second Trump administration is going to resemble all space policy aspects of the first Trump. We are absolutely seeing a lot of focus on that. And that's been really reassuring to me because, Secure World really strongly believes that space sustainability is only going to be achievable for everyone, and it's so important across civil, military, and commercial space. It's only going to work if we are looking at it through an international lens. So that has been one really key takeaway from my perspective.
So you mentioned on space sustainability. So what is it you've seen then in terms of the trends, and how's that going to be a challenge?
Yeah, so this is our bread and butter. Secure World pretty much only does space sustainability, and we're definitely seeing some changes both here at Symposium and just more broadly. A few areas that I'd highlight is space. The environment doesn't differentiate whether you're civil, military, or commercial space, and so we've always really been pushing this idea that therefore, if we're going to talk about different solutions, whether they're academic, whether they're more research, whether they're regulatory, you really have to take into account all of those different domains and have actors from across that. And that, again, is one of the benefits of an event like this, where you can talk to folks from across those domains. So that continues to really be a trend. We're seeing changes in the defense space world. What are priorities? How are countries and regions approaching those activities? And so definitely, though, an acknowledgement that safety in space is important for everyone and trying to figure out what that means. So that's been really interesting to me. We're continuing to see the development of what I call the space sustainability sub-segment, for lack of a better phrase. I'm going to try to get them to come up with an actual phrase. But what I mean is all of the enabling technologies. So ADR is an obvious one, different kinds of in-orbit servicing, but it also applies to SSA, to propulsion, to space weather sensors. And we're seeing a real increase and solidification of that market, but there are also questions. They're kind of staring into, I don't want to say it, but I will, the valley of death. And we as an organization and as a community need to see those technologies mature and be adaptable. And so that, I think we're coming up to that, and we're seeing a lot of cool announcements and new things happening. So that's been really great. And then, we're just seeing, more and more satellites, more and more uses. So yesterday there was supposed to be a big launch for Amazon Project Kuiper. That's been scrubbed, but will obviously get rescheduled. But, there's a lot more telecommunication side also coming online. And, with that, there are a lot of obvious and really exciting benefits, but also challenges, and just trying to understand how different regions and different countries are going to address those.
It's not a small challenge, I will say that. So then, what are you looking forward to? What's on the cards next for you guys this year?
Well, thank you so much for that opportunity. I want to let your watchers know about a big opportunity. You guys are all over the world, but you do a lot in Europe, and we're really excited at Secure World that we are bringing the 7th Summit for Space Sustainability to Paris this year. So we're going to be co-hosting it with CNES and with the French government on October 22nd and 23rd. This is a public event. It's a policy forum, so very different than where we are right now. Really trying to dig into some of these space sustainability topics as well as others. Bring together government, academia, civil society, and industry to really talk about the nuances of how do we ensure space sustainability without in any way hindering our access and ability to use space. I mean, it is always this trade-off that we're constantly trying to figure out, and there's so much happening around the world, but specifically in Europe. There's so much coming online with space policy. We're all looking to the Space Act. We're looking to new space strategies like the French space strategy that's being worked on. ESA's Zero Debris Charter is entering its implementation phase. So there's so much happening. So I would invite everyone to take a look at that. Registration is open. We're working on the agenda diligently right now. But I think it's something that's really going to be of value to a lot of communities.
And what date is that?
That is October 22nd and 23rd this year. And it is both in person in Paris and hybrid online.
Well, it is just in my neighborhood, so I'll pop up from Toulouse and I will shoot to see you there. And I will hopefully see some of our space watchers, either virtually or in person. Krystal, thank you so much. Enjoy this last day of the forum, and I'll speak to you soon.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
So if we bring Yvette back in.
So refreshing.
I know.
I'm always inspired by the conversation, and Krystal, as a pace setter for the industry, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. I was thinking about her last comments on Europe, and it's so true that even given the announcements yesterday with Germany forming a new government, this is really cementing their place in the space conversation, as for many countries in Europe. So I'm excited to see what comes next.
Yeah.
And I would be remiss if I didn't mention how I don't know, well taken care of we've been. The best and most gracious hosts have been the DLR team, and we are here today. Gratitude to them for all of their hosting, and they made this very possible for us. They made the stage possible for us, and they support our platform. So I want to say a big, huge thank you to the DLR team and to our German team at large.
Absolutely thanking them. Anything for the rest of today that you're...
I'm excited. It's the last day. We're going to get the most out of it. The exhibit halls are open. We have a lot of exhibitors from around the world who are kind of sharing their latest and greatest technologies. So I think today I'm going to take a time to go to the exhibits. There's some last sessions that are pretty incredible. And then close out with making sure that we send out as much as we can on our platform afterwards. There will be a lot of our recordings, our videos, a lot of the interviews that have taken place this week are going to be posted soon, so stay tuned for that. And with that, I say thank you, Laura, for a wonderful, fun week.
Thank you, Yvette, and also thank you to Torsten, our lovely host and leader on this.
He's
topic.
the glue. He's the glue that keeps us together.
That's it. I was looking for the words. He's the glue.
Thank you, and with that, Space Watch out.